Hey guys, Coach Justin. I'll be talking to you about your Friday workout. We kick this one off with a 20-minute strength session. We're going to be building up to a 1 rep low incline. For that low incline, we're looking for our athletes to set our benches up on top of a 45-pound bumper. It's going to elevate them just enough, but really teach them to focus on driving through that pad there with that elevated position. It also kind of gets the knees and feet lower than what they typically would be on that setup. So instead of having to worry about driving through the legs there, they can really focus on driving through the shoulders. It's a great position. It's what a lot of power lifters would do to mimic a incline, because in that aggressive incline, it puts some of our lifters into a disadvantageous position, puts a lot of torque on their shoulders. The incline's still a great position to train. This is a safer way to do it. We did this a little while back and we did it with chains. It's going to be the first time that we did it with just bar weight. So we get to set a new metric here that we can go after later. Make sure that your athletes are logging those results and they can use that chain. They can use the one with the chains or with that accommodating resistance, whatever you used, as a baseline for these percentages. And then obviously they should be getting heavier because they don't have that accommodating resistance, but it'll be good baseline for the percentages and allow your athletes to kind of move on to work off of something. Now, for your competitive athletes, they've seen this in grind before. They actually have a number and they can use that number as well. When we're setting up here, we want to make sure that we're spreading the bar, that we're pushing our shoulders through the pad, and that we're rowing the bar down to our chest and then pushing through that pad on our way up. We want to keep our feet spread wide, our glutes squeezed, and a small arch in our back. As we go through this, let's make sure that we have our two side spotters, one on each side, ready in case anything goes wrong, or if that bar starts to drop down even in the slightest, then those side spotters can take over. Instead of standing over top of somebody, which is never preferred, the side spotters can be right there and they can easily lift it up together. Um, I've seen it a lot of times where people will wait until that weight just absolutely buries the athlete and then it's sitting on top of them and caving into their chest. Well, depending on how much weight that is, that can actually be really, really unsafe. So as soon as that weight starts to reverse directions, let's have the side spotters take over. You can teach that, show your athletes what to look for. We don't want anybody missing or robbing a lift for an athlete, but we also need to be considerate and make sure that our athletes are staying safe and that they can live to lift another day. For our accessories, we're going to do 2 to 3 sets. It's going to be 8 incline dumbbell skull crushers. You can leave the incline, that low incline, for this if you want. If you want a little bit more aggressive of an incline, that's okay as well, but the bench is already set. For those dumbbell skull crushers, instead of like the JMs where we're here, we're going to rotate those palms facing out and you're going to pull those dumbbells back towards your forehead and then press out. I like with dumbbell skull crushers to press the heads of the dumbbells together in that forward facing grip and then row it into the forehead and then press out there. We should be using a moderate weight because it's eight reps here, so something a little bit on the heavier side. Let's make sure only something that we can stabilize, though. So if it gets too heavy and our athletes start to lose position or their hands are moving at different rates of speed, then maybe we need to go ahead and bring that weight down. Now we can still go with our teams of three here and have the two side spotters in position in case something happens. One side kind of doesn't take over when it should. We don't want those skull crushers to turn into actual skull crushers here. So good idea to make sure that we have side spotters. And then we're going to go into 8 GHD face down dumbbell wide elbow rows. This is going to be with a lighter weight. Some of your athletes may even use change plates if they're doing this. They're going to go into that Sorensen hold position. They're going to pause with a small arch in their back, and then they're going to row their elbows out wide to the side, squeeze and pause for 1 to 2 seconds, and then come back down to that long arm position. We don't want our shoulders dipping or changing positions here. We want our shoulders to stay locked in the entire time here. If athletes are unable to get into this position for whatever reason, we can always go into that incline face down position for that wide elbow row, or we can do this on a box and have an athlete sit on their feet or hold their feet down. That would be another option as well. Then finally, we go into our finisher, which is going to be 100 Sphinx push-ups. If your athletes can't do at least 30 reps nonstop of the Sphinx push ups, then we can just use a reverse band. For the reverse band, put it on the high bar of your pull up bar, put the band underneath the armpits for that support, and then we're just looking to fire off there. For the Sphinx push ups, I like to spread the fingers wide, grip the ground, externally rotate, and then we're putting that forearm on the ground and you're just pushing through. Really nice, hits the back of the elbow right here. Kind of gives that same feel as the JM, but you're really stretching that muscle group, that muscle belly right there behind the elbow, and that's going to be what gives our athletes the stability for all the dynamic movements that we do in CrossFit and protects them and keeps them safe. That's all we got for you guys on Friday.